who has experienced repeating behavior that has not been very good for a family relationship. So this could be, a mother who meddles in your business. This could be a brother who tries to borrow money and never pays it back, or somebody who's just overstaying their welcome. But we have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse and the Six of Cups in the reverse because whatever good relationship connection was there in the past seems to be evaporating or not really be the current energy. So I think we have someone deciding to go no contact or even blocking a family member or an entire family because we cannot move away from this old energy or treat each other with the respect that should be brought to that connection. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Lemonade. How we doing? Happy Friday. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. You can find that in the description box along with more information on how to become a member if you want access to more content, and also how to find my Etsy shop if you are interested in a homemade candle or the shirt that I'm wearing that says Carmen believes in me. You can also find that in the description box. Hello, Joaquin. How are you doing? Hello, intellectual wanderer. What's up? Let's dive in. I think we'll start with the Marigold Tarot, but we do need maybe just a little bit more candlelight. Just a little bit more. All right. What else do we have? Yes, these things happen. I hope it improves, but you know what? Sometimes that's what you need, right? Is that going to help now? All right, that's better. What else do we have? Hello, I am Chosen. How are you today? Oh, happy birthday, intellectual. I hope you have some fun or at least very relaxing plans ahead. What else do we have? The Knight of Rings or Knight of Pentacles in the reverse and the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Fool. So we have somebody who is deciding to take a new approach. I've been patient. I have tried to explain what my boundaries are or, have had a conversation about, what needs to change or what is no longer tolerable behavior. And yet here we are, this same pattern is playing out, or this person doesn't seem to want to respect how things have changed or respect my rules. So now we have someone saying, okay, I guess we have to take a different approach. So this is probably why we have someone saying, looks like we need to go no contact. Looks like we need to basically make this a more like a stricter boundary, right? Nine of Wands in the reverse, Ace of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. I gave you this opportunity. I thought maybe we could move beyond whatever that issue was. And then here you are, you're coming around with that same BS. So with the Knight of Swords, this is you communicating or laying out the rules and then somebody not really taking that opportunity to treat you better. Hello, Melikeya. How are you doing? Oh, no. Yeah, that's definitely a responsibility for a mother. But that's why we have this collective, so we can work with each other on that stuff, right? So we have the Tower in the reverse and the Six of Swords in the reverse. There is some event or problem, and this family member goes right back into the old patterns, the old way of doing things. And with the Six of Swords being in the reverse, it's like you're not actually helping the problem, you're making it worse. You're adding insult to injury. Five of Cups and the Page of Cups in the reverse. So whoever I'm reading for, this is basically saying, I gave you the opportunity or I told you what needed to change. That thing has not changed. That behavior is still the same. So now it's my time to basically say, that's it. Like, we can't fix this if you're just going to go back to that same way of approaching things over and over again. There's been no change here, therefore I can't expect different outcomes or different experiences, because you're still going to revert back to that old way of that toxic behavior. So Two of Rings or Two of Pentacles in the reverse, the World, and the Star in the reverse. This feels to me like someone deciding whatever has been a problem between us, it cannot be resolved, or we cannot like move forward because that same problem keeps coming up. I'm not going to accept that behavior. So the only thing that I'm left with is just basically cutting off that connection, going no contact. So sorry, but that's how things are, right? Hello, alrighty. How are you doing? Hello, Carrie. Yes, and that's what we love about you, Rachel. What else do we have here? This is the Pulp Tarot, if I forgot that. We have the Six of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So we have someone who had this opportunity and they made their choice. Their choice was a disappointment, but it also made sense. And it gives you that ammunition that you need, I guess, or that justification to implement those boundaries, go no contact. And this Ace of Cups is about protecting your energy. Often we see the Ace of Cups as, oh, it's a love offer. But you know what? Sometimes we make that love offer to ourselves. Sometimes it's about the peace and protection that you want in your life, not wanting to have to repeat yourself over and over again to somebody who doesn't seem to want to take your they don't take it seriously what you've asked of them. So if that's true, then they don't get to be in your inner circle anymore. So we have a choice being made. If you're going to continue to treat me that way, if you're going to be okay with disrespecting me, or maybe it's disrespecting your partner or where you live, then you won't be invited over anymore. Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. So we have the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse and the Ace of Wands. Because the reality is, if you waste all of your energy trying to explain something to a person who doesn't really care to understand, then you're wasting all of that energy and time. And that could be going towards something that is actually important in your life, right? This could be energy that you put into a friendship or into building a business for yourself or improving your fitness. There's like sacrifices that you've made to try to make this work, and you've decided to no longer make those sacrifices for someone who isn't willing to do right by your connection. Nine of Wands, Queen of Cups, Page of Wands in the reverse. I can love you from afar, or I can respect you from over here, but I'm not going to let you into my space, or I'm not going to prioritize communications with you, because all it ever does is put me in this defensive mode. So Page of Wands in the reverse, this is like, yeah, I think you don't have a right to know what's going on in my life because you don't seem to actually have respect for me. So without that, then, basically you don't have a pass. You don't have access to me or to what's going on. For some of you, this is a grandparent being cut off from their grandchildren because they don't want to respect the rules that you have in place. Others of you, this is whether or not you want to continue to deal with your family because of how they've treated your partner unfairly. We have Death and Hierophant in the reverse. This is about respecting you as an adult And apparently that's difficult for this person. They are not willing to accept that things have changed or that you are your own person. And as a result, I feel like you've given them this change or this opportunity for change because they have not wanted to actually pay close attention to what is needed. Then now you're at a place where you're like, okay, I guess that's it. Like we tried, like at least we tried. But I do not have to continue to jump through hoops for someone who is like failing to do the most basic of things as far as respect. This is the Earth and Bone Oracle. Yes, exactly. And who can fault you for wanting to protect that blessing or those blessings? Roots, endowment, ancestry, memory, legacy, and tradition. So this is someone who feels entitled to have a say in your life, but perhaps more so than they should, right? Like, because I'm your ancestor, you should do things the way that I teach you. Maybe they were wrong about that. Maybe they should show respect to you before demanding certain things of you. We have prosperity, wealth, contentment, success, achievements, and abundance. We could have somebody who feels entitled to something inherited and then it ends up going to you instead of to them. We could have had like a last will and testament that skipped over the children and went towards the the grandchildren. But I do feel there's a sense of entitlement or someone who's maybe even a little bit self-absorbed and they don't want to accept that you get to make your own decisions or that somebody else made their own decision. It's that this person in your family doesn't really want to accept that decision that was made. They are not adapting to change the way that they need to. All right, let's see what else we've got. This is the Tarot of the Cat People. Yeah, that is pretty sad. And it often leads to a breakdown in a family. You got to be able to understand that, children grow up and then they start lives of their own. So we have the Five of Cups, and the Ten of Swords, King of Cups in the reverse. So we have disrespect in family connection where it's like you did this thing, wasn't very smart, wasn't very kind. Let's say they drank your last bottle of wine, didn't ask you. They're not willing to apologize for what they did. This is just kind of like, well, if it was in the refrigerator, then it's fair game. I'm quoting Tenacious D. That's why I'm smiling like that, okay? Kielbasa sausage. Sorry. This is somebody who doesn't want to apologize because they feel like superior. I'm sorry, but being born 20 or 40 years before somebody else doesn't mean that automatically you're smarter. My dad likes to say, you're only young once, but you can be immature your whole life. Age is a number. It can tell us certain things, but it is not a guarantee that somebody is more mature. It is not a guarantee that somebody is smarter. It's not a guarantee that somebody is going to know exactly what advice to impart to you. And this is one of those times where we have someone who's trying to leverage age as a reason to justify being like holier than thou. I don't think they're very holy. This looks like just pure entitlement. Five of Swords in the reverse. So they feel like they should be able to tell you what to do or how to live your life, or maybe they want to tell you how to be a parent. Maybe they want to tell you how to buy a house, and you're like, I got it. There was a very fun conversation where I had with my dad, basically saying, I have sold a house more recently than you. Two, actually. It's like, sometimes you have more recent or more applicable experience, and that could get under somebody's skin. But I feel like you are the authority. You're the person who gets to make a decision. And this person's like trying to erode that personal power that you have, trying to make you question your decision or trying to like overrule you. And it's like, I'm going to stop you right there. And no, I don't care how smart you think you are. This is not your decision. There's probably a kinder way to say those words, but this is a person who feels like they can overrule you or they're not taking seriously your decision powers. And that's foolish of them. And I think they're wrong. But we have someone who might feel that it's impossible for them to be wrong. Hello, Alexander. How are you doing? Hello, Colleen. I hope you're having a good day. Just trying to make sure I said hello to everybody. So we have Death and the Two of Swords. So basically, the prompt here was you can change how you approach this and how you approach me, or I have to make a decision, and it involves probably going no contact or avoiding a relationship with you. Because this person feels like they don't have to work on themselves, or they don't have to apologize. They just get to be that way. I'm sorry, accountability only works if it's like everybody's doing it, right? If I am held accountable, but you never have to be held accountable, then it's not going to be a real respectful situation, right? We're going to have some resentment. Like, I'm going to resent you, just to be clear. This is somebody who feels like you should be respectful and accommodating, but they refuse to do those things for you. And I'm sorry, that's not going to work, okay? That respect, it goes both ways. Or it doesn't go either way. So now we have this decision to basically cut back on the connection or go low contact, no contact, because this person feels entitled and probably lost their temper or tried to make you feel small. And that's not their place. They don't get to make these decisions. Yeah, one would think that would get a little dizzying. Hold please, I have to do a little bit of candle management. All right. What else do we have? Financial support. Plugged, tuned in, internet, connected, and today, present, now, in the moment. For some of you, this is a family member who feels like they can boss you around by mentioning that if you don't do what they want you to do, then they're not going to leave you any money in the will. And some of you are like, hey, that's okay. You can take your money. And oh gosh, what was that Deftones song about shoving it? For others of you, this is a person who is very frustrated that you haven't inherited something that they assumed is going to go to them. Inheritance and like wills, they can be a combative force in a family. But we have love that is under a lot of pressure right now because somebody is being unreasonable. I think we have someone whose love should be unconditional, but it is conditional. In fact, we have somebody who is mistreating a family tie because they are more focused on finances. It could be jealousy among cousins or siblings. Because when the reality of the finances or the property or who's got what is discussed, now we have some hurt feelings. Or, someone thinks that they can control their adult children by talking about, here's how I'm going to do my will. And the adult child says, that's fine. You do what you want to do, but it's not going to change how I approach things. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do just because then I might inherit a car. Just because then I might inherit your home. I'm still going to live my life the way I want. We have someone trying to manipulate another person, and it's not going the way that they wanted it to. Whoever I'm reading for, I feel you're able to kind of sidestep someone's efforts to control you because you have independence that this person did not expect you to have. In other words, I don't think you have to do what they say because you're willing to give up whatever this financial support might be, or you're willing to give up whatever they're threatening you with more readily than they expected you to. Changing the House of Flies? No. My Own Summer? Yeah. Right? Hello, James. How are you doing? I hope you do get to experience that, Rachel. You deserve that. Let's get a few from the Weird Cat Tarot. Did I say hello to Carrie? I hope I did. It's reading number 4 of the day, so I get a little bit cloudy on who I've said hello to. Yes, everyone does. I agree, Carrie. What else do we have? The Tower in the reverse. This is someone who's convinced they have like a mic drop moment, but it's like embarrassing for them because it's not a mic drop moment. It's somebody who's like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then I'll never talk to you again. And the other person's like, okay, bye. Slams the door. We have someone who says some sort of threat to try to control you. This would be someone from your family or perhaps your partner's family. And instead of getting what they want, they end up having to walk away. Yeah, that's fine. Never talk to me again. Write me out of your will. That's fine. I'll make do on my own. If you don't give me that thing from the will, then I'll never talk to you again. Okay. Sounds legit. This manipulation isn't going to work on you. And that's like the only option they have. So now what are they going to do? They're not going to get what they want. And in large part, it's because you have grown up. You have figured out what this person does to try to control people, and you're smarter than they are. So you're fine with going off on your own. You're fine with letting go of this person from your social circle. If you don't want to treat me right and you threaten to walk away, I will show you the door. Okay, see you later or never. They're not expecting that. They're expecting you to be like putty in their hands. Like, oh, okay, what do I have to do? Just tell me. Nope, not anymore. How the turntables have, what is it? The tables have turned. They used to be operating from a place of power. They used to be able to make threats and maybe it actually had an impact, but things have changed and now the person who has the power is you. And I'm not suggesting that that means that you should be a bully or somebody who's mean or manipulative, but it means that you are not susceptible to this person who's trying to manipulate you. Not gonna be first today. Thank you, James. You let me know if you want me to pull some cards for you. Yes, self-love is a game changer. Exactly. So this is enlightenment. You know now that this person likes to use things or money or power in order to feel better about themselves because they don't actually have a good grasp on who they are and how they're connected to others. But you have learned something that they have not. I feel like you are breaking a generational curse because you're not beholden to this person. You don't have to do what they say, and it's quite freeing. Four of Swords in the reverse. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. I do think this is somebody who has a bit of a negative reputation within the family. And it could very well be that we have someone who is skipping a generation. They're not leaving their property or their money to, their adult children. They're skipping and leaving it to the grandchildren. Or this is somebody who now you make more money than them. So whether or not they leave something to you in the will, you're like, whatever. You do you. I'm going to go make my own money though, so I don't have to do what you tell me to do. You might have thought that I would be like, oh, shucks, I got to do what you tell me. No, I don't. I don't. I don't have to do what you say. Queen of Swords in the reverse, Four of Cups. Yeah. So you let this person's rejection go on through. Like, okay, if that's what you want. And they're going to probably look at you with a shocked Pikachu face. Like, what do you mean you don't need my money? What do you mean you're okay with never talking to me again? But like, I'm a great person. And you love me. Right? They're going to start questioning their decisions. They're going to start questioning their behavior. Why? Because their old tactics aren't going to work. Because you do not rely on this person the way that they think you do. Or because you aren't going to fall for the same kind of manipulations that maybe you did in the past. This is the Path of Shadows. Hello, Ryder. How are you doing? That's true. It just makes me want to listen to Limp Bizkit. What else? Break something tonight. All right, so we got Lantern, guidance, illumination, and hope. You have found your own way. This person may have been tasked with leading you or training you or teaching you, and maybe they failed you. But that didn't stop you from figuring out what you needed to on your own. And as such, that might mean that you actually lap this person, right? You go around, you go further than they did. And they might be jealous. It could be about sibling rivalry. It could be about a parent not really ever believing that their child can do their own thing. A curse of bones, time, and dust. Things that were never meant to last. Pumpkin patch. You will only taste the sour if you don't seek for the sweet. Share your fruits wisely, lest you sow regrets too deep. Who's got the regrets? Not you. The person who's trying to control you. It's like they feel like they have to win against you. Why are they competing? They don't need to. In the tangle of love, my demons emerge, and I wonder if yours will ask them to dance. This person's toxic. They like starting drama. They don't feel alive unless they have some sort of ongoing competition or some sense of being better than someone else. Like, haha, I tricked you. Avoidance. So maybe they're an avoidant? In the dance of shadows, I conceal and evade. Fear's veil keeps me distant in the dark's cool shade. Yeah, this person doesn't know how to love. And I feel like you have figured it out on your own. Why? Because we have the divine feminine. That doesn't mean you have to be a woman, but it does mean that someone failed you in terms of teaching you how to deal with your emotions and you figured it out on your own. It's not an easy path, and I salute you. Because most people would be like, well, I don't need to learn that. I don't need that. We're good. We're fine. No, actually, what I want is the stained glass tarot. All right. What else do we have? Hello, Sandra. How are you doing? Yeah, what does your comment mean? Hello, Tam. How are you doing? Thank you for liking and subscribing. What else do we have? The Star. Judgment in the reverse. Something that was not given to you by this family member, you get elsewhere. You find a good friend or maybe even a romantic relationship that teaches you about unconditional love. You find a way to let go of the need of acceptance from this person because you realize they set the bar irrationally high. They like to see you struggle for it. But now you're not interested. Now you've realized if you're just going to make it difficult for the sake of being difficult, then how about I don't care? You make your own rules, Emperor, and you don't feel like you need to rely on this person anymore. Three of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah. I feel like this is low contact, no contact, or letting go of what somebody thinks of you. Like it's not a big deal. Are you a disappointing person? Yes, but I still hope for the best, and I'm not going to hang my hat on what you think about me. I'm not going to rely on your opinion of me to understand who I am. At the end of the day, this is somebody who's mad because you've done better than they have. So I see you being able to outgrow or pivot in a way that they did not expect. King of Pentacles, King of Wands, that's your energy. Doesn't mean that you're a man, just like the divine feminine didn't mean that you have to be a woman, but it does mean that you're finding balance. It does mean that you have some bold energy that enables you to let go of things that caused you to be stagnant in the past. And now with this Eight of Wands, things are coming in for you. Blessings are coming in for you at a faster rate. Seven of Pentacles, because you are allocating your energy where you need to. That habit of getting stuck, trying to prove yourself, no longer a risk. Now you're like, nope, I know where to put my energy, and it's not into that empty relationship. Hello, Larry. How are you doing? Hello, MNV. What's up? And we've got Justice in the reverse. There's some frustration from this family member because they feel like it's not fair that things are going better for you, but it's because you've overcome this unconditional love hurdle that your parent did not. Page of Cups in the reverse. You don't need their approval to find a way to understand unconditional love. Their approval would have been nice, but it isn't required. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So what has resulted in them having a chip on their shoulder this entire time, you've been able to let go of it. You're not carrying a grudge or being automatically resentful. This enables you to find opportunities that passed your parents by or sibling. Take it how it resonates, but it's a family member that has felt competitive with you. And now, while they're stuck in this, like, everybody owes me and I don't like anybody, you've passed on that energy. And with the Four of Wands, you're ascending beyond what that parent had been able to achieve. Hello, Flex. I don't know. I mean, first of all, that's very kind. I definitely get some hate on here, but I miss you guys when I'm not on here. Like the other day, I feel a little bit guilty, but this is like probably what it felt like for the people on Cheers, right? Where everybody knows your name. I love my collective. There's some awesome people in it. But I also hope it means that we've got some people who are letting go of situations that have caused them to feel stagnant, because I know from experience that you can get out of those places and you can set up that new chapter in your life if you believe in yourself, which is part of why I have this t-shirt, right? This is like so much more fulfilling than what I was doing before. So thank you all of you for making it possible though. um Hello Hooks, how's it going? Yes, you do. And it turns out when you get too much sun at the pool, you might take more time than you planned. Don't worry, you guys. The sunburn's already turned into tan, so we're good. Yes, I agree, James. We should never stop with the self-love. All right, let's see what else we've got. I think we need, we're going to go with the signs of the times. What else is going on for this person who is letting go of this family connection or going at least like low contact, right? It means less drama in your life. You're going to have people in your life that appreciate you. See, we're talking about community. When you don't waste your time trying to connect with somebody who's difficult to connect with, it means you have more time for the things that do work out in your life, right? For the people who do know how to communicate with you. So it's a more peaceful existence with people that know how to communicate and be respectful and loving towards you. And even though it might be a little bit difficult to distance yourself, for some of you, this distance is also what teaches this person in your family that it's time for them to work on that it's time for them to do their own healing because you're an inspiration. I hope it does too. What else do we have? We have Destiny. I do feel like you've been able to break a generational curse. You're not falling into the same pattern or problems that other people in your family have. And a big part of that is you didn't let this failure of generational, like this unconditional love that you should have been able to have, you didn't let that stop you in finding yourself and healing from those situations. So I'm proud of you. Let's see if we've got anything from the untold messages of the heart. What else? I'm distracted right now. I think you get a lot of excuses from this person when they owe you something. They don't have this sense of urgency, right? But they want you to have a sense of urgency when they feel like you need to do something for them. I hid something from you and I'm afraid to tell you about it. I made the wrong turn and honestly, the grass wasn't greener over there. For some of you, this parent or sibling minimalized the connection or showed more disrespect to you because of a relationship that they got into. So for some of you, even while you were being like raised by this person, they let romantic relationships take priority when they should have been prioritizing you. Or they might even get like competitive. With some of you, I'm seeing this is a person who thought it was okay to flirt with the people that you were interested in. No. It's easier to block everything out right now. I'd rather ignore my emotions. Oh, that sounds like the wrong choice. But it makes sense for someone who doesn't process their emotions appropriately. Hurting you was never my intention, but now it's hurting me too. So, this selfish family member didn't want to admit that they owed you more than what they gave, didn't want to be honest about the fact that they let you down or that they chose something or someone that they shouldn't over you. But now they're getting cut off by you, and that's the first time they're finally starting to realize maybe they should have treated you differently. Maybe they should have put you first. Maybe they should have been a better parent, a better sibling, but they can't just count on you to always be there when you were not given that same unconditional love, right? They demand more of you than what they offered to you. So it's unfair. Hello, Heidi. How are you doing? Let's see what else we've got. Forward looking instead of looking into the past. This is the Gilded Reverie. What else is going on now that this person has been booted from the inner circle? I see many of you moving or making a change in terms of where you work, but there's a new location and this person's trying to figure out all your details. Don't post or share things that you don't want this person to find out because they are actively trying to figure out what's going on. But after you make this change, moving elsewhere or working elsewhere, I see you encountering someone who's extremely loyal. This could be a new friend. This could be a new romantic relationship. For some of you, it could be both. But because you are reprioritizing your time and not getting caught up with this person's drama, you have time for somebody else in your life, someone who is a good support system or has good intentions. This is somebody who understands unconditional love and is going to be there for you. And it starts with you knowing when to cut someone out of your life because they really only think about themselves. The connections that you have, we're not exactly set up to be best friends with 300 people, right? In fact, I think I read somewhere that the brain has a Rolodex for about 150 people. That's who you can reliably keep in your life and know and understand. That sounds like a lot to me. Like, can we reduce that to 50? Like 150, that's a lot of people, okay? This is basically saying you are kicking someone out. They don't have a spot in your heart anymore, okay? They don't have a spot on the tilt-a-wheel. Tilt-a-whirl? Whatever that is, their seat, it's no longer theirs. And you're making room for somebody who actually deserves to be in your life, somebody who's actually loyal and friendly and like cares about you and stuff and isn't selfish. So we're doing a little swap-a-rooney. Yeah, take out that person who doesn't understand unconditional love. We're going to do a little bit of a search real quick, and then we're going to find a good friend. We're going to find somebody that is actually trustworthy. So you take a chance. You change your life in a way that maybe others don't really understand, but it puts you in the environment where you're able to have the inner circle you deserve, people who are reliable and trustworthy, people who care about you. I love the Tilt-A-Whirl ride. I haven't been on one in ages, but I might have to find like a county fair just so that I can go on one this year. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. I love you all. Remember that you deserve to be respected, okay? And if people are not able to do that, then you got to wonder, what's the reason? Why do they not want to be respectful? And do they deserve to be in your inner circle? A gravitron? Oh my God, I love those too. All right. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to. And I'll see you on the next reading. Toodles.